116. All right, so you can see that they're going to do three different things. The first transformation that they do is a reflection over line L. And you can see here that they've done that, and they've labeled it with the prime, okay, because that's the first image. And then the second step, they want to move it along the vector, and it is over 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 1. So they moved every point 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 1. And notice now that they have two little tick marks. That's the second transformation, and so that it's that third and final image. So you have your pre-image, your first image, and your second new image, or your third final image, however you want to think about that. So if you turn the page, okay, so now we're moving on to 3.1, which is just making you think about what happens when you have a sequence of transformations. And remember, we have two different kinds of transformations. They are rigid and non-rigid. Rigid would be translations, reflections, and rotations. And if you look on page, and non-rigid would be stretching and compressing. So if you look on page 116, that's where we're going to look at. And okay, we are going. Okay, I'm going to do example 11 on page 119. And the first thing that I think that you should do on any of these is write down all your original points. So the first thing it wants me to do is to subtract 1 from x and 1 from y. And when I do that, my figure, let's see, I got 1, 1, 1, 4, and this is A prime, B prime, and C prime is 2, 1. So that's a rigid motion. It moved, but it didn't change size. And so then our next transformation is going to be 3xy. And as you can see in the blue there, I did that already. And so A is at 3, 1, A double prime. B is at 3, 4. B double prime, and C is at 6, 1. And we can see that that is a non-rigid motion. It changed this shape by 3, the horizontal, and if we look here, the distance between A and C is 1, and now the distance between A and C is 3. And then our last transformation is opposite x, opposite y. When I plot those points, there's my A, and then 3, 4 is my B, and this is my third one, and C is -6, -1. And I can look at that and see that the orientation is different, isn't it? So it's not a reflection, it's a rotation, okay? And that is the only one that I am going to do in that section. So then if you flip to page 127, we will talk about proving figures are congruent using rigid motions. And we know that these words, congruent and rigid, okay, go together. Because if we're not changing the size, okay, that the figures are the same size, then it was a rigid motion. And it's just saying that, okay, if I look at this, I can see that A, B, C, D is the same size. and it looks like it was moved with a translation. And it looks like A goes to E, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like X plus 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Y minus 4, if I counted those wrong. And then we know that a translation is rigid, and so those are congruent. If I look at B, I can see that K and P are the same, and it looks like everything has a line there. Everything is equal distance between a line, and so that is a reflection. And that's rigid motion. And then the last one on here, okay, that they are not the same size. And so there is no rigid motion there because that was a compression, wasn't it? So let's look at page, there's some more of these in class. I'm just going to do one. Now, there is no set right answer for these. There's a few different things you can do, and you may not see the same thing I see. So, but that doesn't mean anything. Now, when we look up here, ABCD is congruent to JKLM, it means that they go in order. So A is the same point as J, all right, those match up. And B matches up to K, and C matches up to L. And if I look at this, I can see that A is down here, right? That would be J and A. Actually, instead of doing that, I'm going to put a point, a blue point. Whoops. I should probably use green. So since I wrote an underline green in A, and then C I will put in blue and L. Okay, so the first thing I'm thinking is a reflection, a reflection first. A reflection over the Y axis. So if I reflect this, I'm going to do this in red. I would put that A would be right here. B would be right here. C, it's right there. D is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's my figure. Now, A is here and it's going down here, right? And so that's just sliding it down. That would just be a translation. And so that second part would be followed by a translation. Okay, and I would go, let's see, over 2 and down, let's see, these go by 2, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, over 2, down 10. So the reflection we write as opposite X, Y, and the translation we write, and I said right 2 and down 10. And that's what I see to do, and we'll talk more about that in class. So see you tomorrow.